ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد. Lessons from the life of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam requires that I read to us the entirety of the Quran. There is no part in the Quran A to Z except it is about the Prophet Muhammad. When we spoke about Nuh, we came back to him. When we spoke about Ibrahim, we came back to him. When Sheikh Abu Sakina spoke about Musa, he was reading from Surah Al-Qasas. When Allah assured the mother of Musa that inna raduhu ilayk wa ja'iluhu min al-mursalin. In the end of the surah, Allah referred it back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inna alladhi farada alayka al-Quran la raduka ila ma'ad. The one who has given you the Quran will return you to Makkah. The way he returned Musa to his mother, I will return you to Makkah. If we spoke about Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, we return to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because of all the messengers of Allah, the closest between them was the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam and Isa. After Isa alayhi salatu wasalam, the hadith is authentic, 600 years later, Allah raised the Prophet Muhammad. When Isa was taken away, about 600 years, Allah raised the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. There was no prophet in between the two of them. And there will not be any prophet in between the two of them. Alayhi salatu wasalam. So having to talk about lessons from the life of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam requires to read the whole Quran. When we finish, then we come to Sahih al-Bukhari and read the entire 7,400 or thereabout ahadith. When we finish, we come to Sahih Muslim. Then we can pick the lessons one after the other. But there's a verse in Surah Al-Ahzab that summarizes this importance of the life of the Prophet Muhammad. He said, لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ لِمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو اللَّهَ وَالْيَوْمَ الْآخِرَ وَذَكَرَ اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا. لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. There has always ever been for you فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ, in everything about the Prophet Muhammad. For us is uswatun hasana, a nice, supreme, sublime, honorable model for us to follow. So everything about the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is example for us, full of lessons. Even when he was silent, his silence is example for us, full of lessons. So you would see how troubled I will be trying to look for what to tell us about him, alayhi salatu wasalam. Where do I start from? Where do I pick it from? To have a good spread. As I thought of that, a hadith came to my mind. That if we discuss this hadith, we would have discussed a large part of the life of the Prophet Muhammad. This hadith was reported by Abu Sufyan. And the scholars of Al-Masanid have reported it as the only hadith that he has. Abu Sufyan, the father of Muawiyah, the father of Habiba, one of the wives of the Prophet Muhammad radiyallahu anhum. Abu Sufyan was a well-known person amongst Quraysh. This hadith, the incidents happened few months later, he accepted Islam. But when these incidents that he reported happened, he was not a Muslim. It was after he accepted Islam, he now narrated the incidents. This one occurs in the science of hadith amongst the scholars of hadith. If a person was a kafir, something happened to him. If he comes to Islam, after his Islam, he is narrating what happened when he was a kafir to be accepted. Just like a little young boy. If he, at that young age of 6, I think most of them allow 6, between 5 and 7. A young boy between age 5 and 7 tells us something. Our ustaz, our this, our teacher, you take it, you just hold it until you are able to confirm or reject it because of the little age, little understanding, and many other things. But when he grows now, he starts to tell us what happened to him when he was young. So as at a young age, the report may not be accepted. Just like as at the time of Kufr, when Abu Sufyan experienced this matter, the report will not be accepted. If he was telling this to Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, who reported this hadith from him, if he was telling him fi hali kufrihi, at the time that he was a kafir, it will not be accepted. And we will see why it will not be accepted. But if it's narrated incidents after his Islam, then it will be accepted. Because at that time, he knows the implication of a lie and the repercussions of a lie. And then don't forget, he had accepted Islam with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So in the 7th year of Hijrah in Muharram, Abu Sufyan was in Sham, present-day Syria. Before now, Quraysh, they always go to Sham for their business trade. Rihlat al-Shita was. When Battle of Badr was taking place, it was Abu Sufyan again. He had about 30 camel loads of goods he purchased from Sham. He was bringing to Mecca. It was one of the reasons for the Battle of Badr. So at that battle, they were humiliated. But they came back for Uhud. I'm just saying, Abu Sufyan, these incidents happened. Later in the year, there was Fathu Makkah. Fathu Makkah was about in the 7th year of Hijrah. That was when he accepted Islam. So between these incidents and his accepting Islam was few months. And it was his accepting Islam that he used to end the story. I think if we read the story, the lessons in it will tell us about the personality of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the essence of his message. And each of us will pick from it very important lessons. Whether you are ustaz, teacher, sheikh, accountant, whatever you be. Bismillah, you pick the lessons from this hadith of Abu Sufyan. This hadith has been widely reported by the scholars of hadith. Abdullah ibn Abbas reported it from Abu Sufyan. And from Abdullah ibn Abbas, Ubaydullah ibn Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud. Ibn Mas'ud had a brother who was also a Muslim, his own grandchild. He was the one who reported it from Ibn Abbas. He was from the scholars of Medina. And from him, Al-Imam al-Zuhri, Muhammad ibn Muslim, reported the hadith. From Az-Zuhri, 9 persons reported it. 9. So you see, Zuhri was a tabi from the students of Anas. He's reporting from another tabi. Ibn Abbas was a companion, Sahabi. He was reporting from another companion. Makes us understand the importance of this hadith. So Imam Muslim reported it in his Sahih, in Kitabu As-Sira wal Jihad. In Sahih Muslim it occurs in Kitabul Jihad was Siyar wal Imara. You can check it so that as we study it, you look at the hadith. It's a very lengthy hadith. It would be a good hadith to learn. If I had known before now that that is what I will share, maybe we would have made photocopies for us. Look at it. Many of us, we have Sahih Muslim on our phones. That is hadith 4598. 4598. If you look at the Tarkim of Sheikh Fuad Abdul Baqi, the numbering of Fuad Abdul Baqi, 4598. But it is in Kitabul Jihad was Siyar wal Imara. Kitabul Jihad was Siyar wal Imara. Babu Kitabin Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ila Hirakla yad'uhu ila al-Islam. The chapter about the Prophet's letter to Hirakl, inviting him to Islam. So let's take a reading of that hadith from Sahih Muslim. It also occurs in Sahih al-Bukhari in Kitabu Bad'il Wahi. In Sahih al-Bukhari, it occurs in Kitabu Bad'il Wahi. Before you get to hadith 15 in Sahih al-Bukhari, you will see this hadith. But I have preferred the report of Al-Imam Muslim for reasons that perhaps some other time we can talk about. So we'll be reading from Sahih Muslim. Now, Bismillah.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. قال الإمام مسلم رحمه الله حدثنا إسحاق واللفظ للمرافع قال المرافع وابن أبي عمر حدثنا وقال الآخران أخبرنا عبد الرزاق أخبرنا معمر عن الزهري عن عبيد الله بن عبد الله بن عتبة عن ابن عباس أن أبا سفيان أخبره من فيه إلى فيه قال انطلقت في المدة التي كانت بيني وبين رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال فبينا أنا بالشام إذ جيء بكتاب من رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم إلى هرقل يعني عظيم الروم قال وكان لحية الكلبي جاء به فدفعه إلى عظيم بصرى إلى هرقل فقال هرقل هل ها هنا أحد من قوم هذا الرجل الذي يزعم أنه نبي؟ قالوا نعم. قال فدعيت في نفر من قريش فدخلنا على هرقل فأجلسنا بين يديه فقال أيكم أقرب نسبا من هذا الرجل الذي يزعم أنه نبي؟ فقال أبو سفيان فقلت أنا فأجلسوني بين يديه وأجلسوا أصحابي خلفي ثم دعا بترجمانه فقال لهم قل لهم إني سائل هذا عن الرجل الذي يزعم أنه نبي فإن كذبني فكذبوه. قال فقال أبو سفيان ويم الله لولا مخافة أن يؤثر علي الكذب لكذبت. ثم قال لترجمانه سلوا كيف حسبوه فيكم قال قلت هو فينا ذو حسب. قال فهل كان من آبائه ملك؟ قلت لا. قال فهل كنتم تتهمونه بالكذب قبل أن يقول ما قال؟ قلت لا. قال ومن يتبعه أشراف الناس أم ضعفاؤهم؟ قال قلت بل ضعفاؤهم. قال أيزيدون أم ينقصون؟ قال قلت لا بل يزيدون. قال هل يرتد أحد منهم عن دينه بعد أن يدخل فيه صخرة له؟ قال قلت لا. قال فهل قاتلتموه؟ قلت نعم. قال فكيف كان قتالكم إياه؟ قال قلت تكون الحرب بيننا وبينه سجالا يصيب منا ونصيب منه. قال فهل يغدر؟ قلت لا. ونحن منه في مدة لا ندري ما هو صانع فيها. قال فوالله ما أمكنني من كلمة أدرك فيها شيئا غير هذه. قال هذا القول أحده. قال قلت له قل له إني سألتك عن حسبي فزعمت أنه فيكم ذو حسب، وكذلك الرسل تبعث في أحساب قومها. وسألتك هل كان في آبائه ملك فزعمت أنه، فقلت لو كان في آبائه ملك قلت رجل يقتل آبائه. وسألتك عن أشرفهم وسألت عن أشرفهم أشرفهم فقلت بل كذلك يتقرب وشهد. وسألت هل يزيدون أو ينقصون فزعمت أنهم يزيدون، وكذلك الإيمان حتى يزيد. وسألت هل قاتلتموه فزعمت أنكم قد قاتلتموه، فتكون الحرب بينكم وبينه سجالا ينال منكم وتنالون منه. وكذلك الرسل تبتلى ثم تكون لهم عاقبة. وسألتك هل يغفر فزعمت أنه لا يغفر، وكذلك الرسل لا تغفر. وسألتك هل قال هذا القول أحد قبله فزعمت أن لا، فقلت لو قال هذا القول أحد قبله قلت رجل ائتم بقول قيل قبله. قال ثم قال بما يأمركم؟ قلت يأمرنا بالصلاة والزكاة والصلة والعفاف. قال إن يكن ما تقول فيه حقا فإنه نبي، وقد كنت أعلم أنه خارج ولم أكن أظنه منكم، ولو أني أعلم أني أخلص إليه لأحببت لقاءه، ولو كنت عنده لغسلت عن قدميه، ولا يبلغن ملكه ما تحت قدمي. قال ثم دعاني إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال إذا فيه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من محمد رسول الله العظيم سلام على من اتبع. أما بعد فإني أدعوك أسلم تسلم وأسلم يؤتي الله أجر مرتين، وإن عليك بنا فأمر بنا فخرجنا. قال فقلت لأصحابي حين خرجنا لقد آمر ابن أبي كبشة إنه ليخافه ملك بني الأصفر. قال فما زلت موقنا بأمر رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه سيظهر حتى أدخل الله علي الإسلام.
جزاك الله خير. Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, as we mentioned earlier, was the one who reported this hadith from Abu Sufyan. We mentioned a bit about Abu Sufyan. He was the father of two very eminent companions. The first of them, Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he used to write wahyu for the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu. He would write wahyu for him. As for Ummu Habiba radiallahu anha, she was from the wives of the Prophet Muhammad. So these were eminent people. So Abu Sufyan, these incidents happened, as we mentioned earlier also, in about the early years, the early times of the 7th year of Hijrah, the year of Fathu Makkah. Ibn Abbas said, radiyallahu anhuma, anna Aba Sufyan akhrahu min fihi ila fihi. What I want to explain to you, Abbas said, radiyallahu anhuma, akhbarahu, Abu Sufyan told him, min fihi ila fihi, mouth to mouth. I was in front of him, he was narrating to me. I could ask him a question, he could talk to me, and I could talk to him. Radiyallahu anhu. He said, in talaqtu fil muddati allati kanat bayni wa Rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I had traveled in the year when there was a truce between we and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let's not forget that in the 6th year of Hijrah was a treaty, a truce of Hudaybiyah. So they returned to Medina in the last days of the 6th year, and the Prophet sent a message regarding this in the early 7th year of Hijrah. So at that time, the truce had started. He said at that time, we had a truce with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he was a mushrik at the time. At that time, Abu Sufyan was a Muslim, was not a Muslim. He said, فَبَيْنَا أَنَا بِالشَّامِ, while I was in Sham. He goes on his trade. Since a long time ago, he was a businessman with a lot of money. He had a lot of influence. Abu Sufyan, he was rich. He was influential. So as we say today, I went to China, businessman. If you hear London now, it's not business. Say, I went to China to buy some things and bring to Nigeria. So the same way they used to go to Sham. Say, Bayna ana bisham, I was at Sham. If ji'a bi kitabin min Rasulillah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ila Herakl. We were there, just then we heard of a message that came from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see now, he's a Muslim now. So he's calling the Prophet Rasulullah. But at that time, he would not call him Rasulullah. He would hear it. So you see the difference between when the incident happened and at the time he was narrating. He's narrating as a friend. The incidents happened when he was an enemy. Radiyallahu anhu. He said, "Idji'a bi kitabin min Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam." Were there, and a message came from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam ila Herakl. It came to Herakl. Herakl is the name of the king. But the title of his office was Caesar. He was the head of the Roman Empire at the time, Al-Mamlakatul Rumiyya. It was headed by Heracl at the time. But the title of his kingship he was Caesar. So that was why he said, Ila Heracl, Yani Azim al-Rum. He didn't also say Malik al-Rum, because his mulk was destroyed by the people of Islam. This incident, when it happened, ikhwa, it will teach us one lesson. It is one thing to know the truth. Wallahi, it is one thing to follow the truth. Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, when he was explaining a point here, he says, وَلَكِنْ التَّوْفِيقُ بِيَدِ اللَّهِ. Because the man was convinced at the end of it that Muhammad Rasulullah, but he did not follow him. Rather, he was even fighting him. When he passed away, his son fought Omar radiallahu anhu. At that time, the Prophet too had died. It was in the Khilafah of Omar that their kingship, their empire fell to the people of Islam. So that was why he would not now say Azimur Rum. He would only say Azimur Rum. He won't say Malikur Rum, because his mulk had been destroyed. So he's Azim. How? He is the person that the Romans respected. He was their head. They respected him. Azim. You are Zimunahu. But as for Muluk, the kings, no, there was no king. There's a clear-cut hadith about that from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All these kings are gone. He said, alayhi salatu wasalam, فَوَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِي, I swear by the one in whose hands is my soul, لَتَصَدَّقَنَّ بِكُنُوزِهِمْ. You will make sadaqah with their fortunes, their wealth, fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah. And that was what happened. So he referred to him as Azimur Rum, the one that the Romans respect. He said, وَكَانَ دِحْيَةُ الْكَلْبِ جَاءَ. The one who came with that message from Medina to Dihyatul Kalbi had one feature. He was a very handsome person. Very handsome. Very handsome amongst the companions of the Prophet. He traveled for weeks from Medina, and at the beginning of the he was the one who came to the head of Usra, and هل هذا أحد من قوم هذا الرجل الذي يزعم أنه نبي؟ هل هنا أحد؟ Do we find anyone here من هذا الرجل الذي يزعم أنه نبي؟ Find anybody from the tribe or from the people of that man among the Arabs who was Yazrumunahu, claiming that he's a prophet? قالوا نعم. He said yes. قال فدعيت في نفر من قريش. Abu Sufyan said, when people answered in the positive, we were invited. دعيت في نفر, I was invited together with a group of people in Quraysh who his letter came and met us there. So we went to the palace. So that was it. فَدَخَلْنَا عَلَى هِرَقْ. We had upon Hiraq. فَأَجْلَسَ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. He made us sit right before him. So Sophia, in the report of Al-Imam al-Bukhari, he said, Rahimahullah, فَإِذَا هُوَ جَالِسٌ فِي مَجْلِسِ مُلِكِهِ. When we entered upon him, كَانَ جَالِسًا فِي مَجْلِسِ مُلِكِهِ. He was sitting in his kingship, in his palace full of palatial routine at the time. He said, radiyallahu anhu, wa alayhi taj, and he was wearing the crown on his head. So when they came in, he was sitting with his people, and he was wearing the crown on his head. He said, rahimahullah, wa innahu bataraqatihi wal kissisun. In that gathering, there were people of eminence and kissisu. His scholars were ruhban, and those who were full of worship. There were the scholars, there were worship, people of worship, and there were his eminence saying the business class, as we say, the economic class, this, that, the army, security, everybody was present. فَأَجْلَسَنَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. We were made to sit in front of him. فَقَالَ. Then he asked, أَيُّكُمْ أَقْرَبُ نَسَبًا مِنْ هَذَا الرَّجُلِ الَّذِي يَزْعُمُ أَنَّهُ نَبِيٌّ. أَيُّكُمْ أَقْرَبُ نَسَبًا. Who amongst you is closest in lineage, in family relations with this man, الَّذِي يَزْعُمُ أَنَّهُ نَبِيٌّ, with this man who is claiming that he's a prophet? Who amongst you is closest to him? You Quraysh, Abu Sufyan and the rest of you. Who amongst you is closest to that man claiming to be a prophet of Allah? فَقَالَ Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan said, فَقُلْتُ. Then I answered on that day, Ana, I am the closest to him. In the report of Al-Bukhari again, he said, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ فِي الرَّكْبِ مِنْ بَنِي عَبْدِ مَنَافٍ. لَمْ يَكُنْ مِنْ بَنِي عَبْدِ مَنَافٍ غَيْرَهُ. There was no one from the descendants of Abdul Manaf apart from me. Because in the lineage of Abu Sufyan and in the lineage of the Prophet Muhammad, they meet at Abdul Manaf from the lineage of the Prophet, and then from the lineage of Abu Sufyan. So he said, I am the one, I'm close to. So I will sit in front of Hiraq. وَأَجْلَسُ أَصْحَابِي خَلْفِي. They made the rest of my team sit behind me. ثُمَّ دَعَا بِتَرْجُمَهِ. Then he invited his interpreter. Tarjuman, interpreter language to the other language. The scholars said Hiraq said to his interpreter, Kullahum, say to them, Inni sa'ilun hadha rajul alladhi yaz'umu annahu nabiyyun. فَإِنْ كَذَبَنِي فَكَذِّبُوهُ. Abu Sufyan was in front of him. Don't forget, وَأَجْلَسُ حَدِيثًا. They made those with Abu Sufyan sit behind Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan was in front, facing Iraq, and then the others Abu Sufyan. Then he invited his interpreter behind Abu Sufyan. I'm going to be asking this one. I'm going to be asking this one about that man who claims that he is a Nabi. If he doesn't like that, he's lying. If he lies to me, but someone came, just tell me, lie. فإن كذبني فكذبوه. قال فقال أبو سفيان. عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنهما. That Abu Sufyan said, رضي الله عنه. Don't forget, this is so if I say رضي الله عنه, I'm referring to his hal after Islam. رضي الله عنه. فقال أبو سفيان ويم الله, I swear by Allah, لولا مخافة أن يؤثر علي الكذب لكذبت. He told those people, if I lie, they should indicate to him that I'm lying. Say, but still I swear by Allah, لولا مخافة أن يؤثر علي الكذب. If not that I was afraid that it will be reported in history. It will be reported after we leave that place, and then from that time forever and ever, that I lied, لَكَذَبْتِ, I would have lied. He said, رضي الله عنه, وَلَوْ كَذَبْتُ, if I had lied even with that, he placed me in front, he placed people behind me, say, if he lies, tell me. لَوْ كَذَبْتُ مَا رُدُّوا عَلَيَّ, they would not have indicated that I was lying. وَلَكِنِّي كُنْتُ امْرَأً سَيِّدًا. But the issue is that I am a kind of a person, I'm a honorable person, I am seen as a leader in the community. أَتَكَرَّمُ عَنِ الْكَذِبِ. It is a part of honor for me that I don't ever tell a lie. Ikhwa, mushrik, atakarram amada. It's a thing of honor for me that I don't ever lie. The ulama say this is evidence that al-kadhibu mazmumun mustakbahun fil jahiliyyati wal Islam. Lying, mustakbahun, mazmum, is dispraised, is a disliked thing. Fil jahiliyyati wal Islam. Today it is the Muslims you see lying. Say, for any, I'm a honorable person, how can I lie? He was a mushrik at the time. Say, when if I they can't tell him, they will not tell him because they are leader. You will say that Sufyan like. Imagine going to the floor of a federal council meeting. You have your state governor in front of you, and the president is asking you whether you lied. Will you say that he lied? Because if you return to Lagos and he's dealing with you, the man will not come down to you. So that was why I said, Wallahi, law kadhabtu ma ruddu alayya. If I had lied, they would not have indicated to him that I was lying. Walakinni, but I was such a man that imra'an sayyida, I'm a head amongst the people, respected. Atakarramu anil kadhib. Lying is a thing that I leave aside by way of seeking honor. It says, wa'alimtu, and I knew quite all right. Anna aysara ma fi dhalik. In كَذَبْتُهُ. I know that easiest thing that you have to be a liar. And they did not say that I'm lying. What happens is that I they won't say that when we leave Abu Sufyan, we went to Sham. They were asking him questions, and he was lying. Yeah, Allah protect us from this. He said, because of this thing, I lie. I don't like that. I don't want it that history will record me to be lying. May Allah protect all of us. That is why al-kadhib, lying, ikhwa, is something we should give away. Should keep away from. If a mushrik is seeing lying and keeping away from lying as a thing of honor, how about us from the people of Islam and Iman? So lying is from the attributes of useless people, even in Jahiliyyah. Before the information started, Abu also told us another thing that he did. He has not started asking questions. But you know, the mind of Abu Sufyan will be going forth and backwards. You say they should tell you if I'm lying. If I'm lying, they can't tell you. But I will not lie. He said, فَجَعَلْتُ أُزَهِدُهُ فِي شَأْنِهِ. The man had not started asking questions. فَجَعَلْتُ أُزَهِدُهُ فِي شَأْنِهِ. I began to quickly speak negative about the Prophet Muhammad. I was saying things that we say in Makkah negatively about him. وَأُصَدِّرُ أَمْرَهُ. I was telling the man that this man's affair is not as big as you think. وَأَقُولُ. I was saying that إِنَّ شَأْنَهُ دُونَ مَا بَلَغَكَ. The man's affair is not so big. They have the issues. Is it Muhammad? It's not so big. It's small. That was after 8th year, 7th year of Hijrah. By the 7th year of Hijrah, the matter had gone small. It says, فَجَعَلَ لَا يَلْتَفِتُ إِلَى ذَلِكَ. All what I was saying, all what I was trying to say, Muhammad's matter is not so important. فَجَعَلَ لَا يَلْتَفِتُ إِلَى ذَلِكَ. The man was not even paying attention to everything that I was saying. And that was why, also in another report of this qissa, Abu Sufyan said, radiyallahu anhu, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, ma ra'aytu min rajulin qattu kana adha min dhalika al-aqlaf. I've never seen a man adha, smart, min dhalika al-aqlaf, from that man who was not circumcised. In the Roman Empire, they did not used to circumcise. I never seen a smart man. He called me to ask me questions. He's not started asking me questions. I was telling him something. I don't mind. Is it Muhammad you want to start asking about? Don't bother yourself. The matter is not so big. He's our boy. We know, you know. There's a lesson here, Ikhwa. When you start a da'wah or you are upon a da'wah, you will have people who will be saying, I don't know. They will be saying things to bring you down. Don't pay attention to them. No matter who they are. In this circumstance, Abu Sufyan to the Prophet in terms of village. So if you are it usually comes from these two groups of people. You do not see that on the day that the message is when he said to the people, Ayyuhannas, say, believe in La ilaha so that you gain success. Abu Naasir, shouldn't you have invited us to something other than this? He cursed the Prophet Muhammad. What do you hear? So sometimes those who want to be on the authorities, your uncles, your colleague, your neighbor, say, yeah. And you are innocent of what they say. It was innocent, alayhi salam. As much as Abu Sufyan yuzahiduhu fi shani Rasulillah wa yusaggiru amra Rasulillah inda ar-rajul lam yaltafit ilayhi ar-rajul. As he tried all that, the man did not pay attention to that. He knew what he wanted to do. He says, that's why he said, Wallahi, ma ra'aytu min rajulin qat. I've never seen any man adha min dhalika ar-rajul al-aklaf, so smart, brilliant, like that man who is not there circumcised. Who does he intend? Iraq. That all the tricks I tried to employ did not work. Because Abu Sufyan too was a businessman. He was a huge businessman. Stupendously rich. Radiyallahu anhu. ثم قال لترجمانه. So when I tried all those things, it did not work. He called his interpreter that he had invited. Salhu. Ask Abu Sufyan, كيف حسبه فيكم? That man who was claiming to be a prophet of Allah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. كيف حسبه فيكم? What are his family achievements and status amongst you? What are his family achievements? What's the status of his family amongst you? Count it as question 1. There are 10 questions. So we'll be coming out with 10 major issues, inshallah. تسأله كيف حسبه فيكم? Ask Abu Sufyan, what is their family stand and rank amongst you? Call. Abu Sufyan said, Kultu. I replied, Huwa fina dhu hasabin. Muhammad amongst us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fina dhu hasabin. He has a powerful, high-ranking family. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, note this about him. He's a man from a high-ranking family background. He's Matiti alayhi salatu wasalam. The meaning of that to us is that we don't also grow children of my identity. Family status and rank. If you have not been on it, some people are on it already. Go. Don't spoil it. Islam wants it. Don't spoil your family name. Contribute something useful and beneficial to it. And the best contribution you can bring to your family is this deen, Islam. If your family is a family of engineers and doctors, you will be planning that the Albani of the generation will come from your own children. The honor of deen supersedes all other honor, even though they are also from the aspects of honor. Keep your honor. Preserve your lineage. Respect your wives and your children. Grow a family that has a good name. Look at the name of the family of the Prophet Muhammad now. They've not asked him what is the first thing. What's his family? Their status amongst you. Abu Sufyan said, Huwa fina dhu hasabin. The scholar says, dhu hasabin. He comes from a powerful nasab. Our hasab من آبائه ملك. Question 2. هل كان من آبائه ملك? Was any of his grandfather like his father, whether his grandfather, whether his great grandfather, was any one of them a king? Could to lie? Abu Sufyan said, I said, no, no one of his father or grandfather or great grandfather was a king. Take that as question 2. Why did he ask whether his grandfather was a king or not? We'll come back to it. Inshallah. Question 3. فهل كنتم تتهمونه بالكذب قبل أن يقول ما قال؟ فهل كنتم تتهمونه بالكذب قبل أن قال ما قال? Did you people used to find him failing regarding lies, telling lies? Did you used to see him someone else lies? Before he said, after this thing, he was not ever known to have been a liar. A man has come from a family of repute. His parents were not kings, but they were honorable people. Number 3, he never told a lie. For 40 years, when he was not telling a lie from, let's say, from a 6 or 7, when a man recognizes, when a person recognizes himself, at age 40, he became a messenger, getting the impact of his past deed. I always tell children, don't behave badly today so that you don't create a bad thing for yourself tomorrow. Yes, no matter how you are, we will either say, he has always been that. If you find you upon goodness, Allah grant our children goodness. If we find you upon goodness, he has always been like that. Or we say, he has just changed. Oh, that boy, he was a very naughty boy. Don't be like this. Especially if you are walking upon the path of knowledge. My brother, don't spoil yourself. Because it will be documented. Someday, somehow, somebody will remind you. Mughira ibn Shu'bah, on the day of Hudaybiyah, Mughira was huge. He's strong. In his life, he was very rich. He was the one standing in front of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of Hudaybiyah. He didn't want anybody to come near him and do something unhealthy. That was because before Mughira ibn Shu'bah accepted Islam, he had things that he did that were not worthy of mention. It's in the hadith, in the kiss of Al-Imam Zuhri again in Hudaybiyah. Mughira used to engage in that. He was tough. Let me stop at that. So, but now that is now, because Al-Islam yajubu makana qabla, Islam will cancel out everything you are doing before that. But isn't it better that you were not doing and then you are still upon Islam? Oh, men and women, grow your children to be upon the path of nobility from the very beginning, especially if you want them to grow upon the path of knowledge. Start it from day one. One small example. Make them dress properly. Make them dress properly. Always wear a cap, dress properly, wear a shoe. Always. Not necessarily expensively. Don't mistake the two. But let them do it at all times. A boy wearing a cap, wearing a kaftan, dressing, going. Oh, sure, go to boys, ball in the street. They won't even see him like he's one of them. He's always going nobly. It's distinct. In fact, they will say, come please. He will say, I can't. He will look at him and say that I'm not. But to wash jeans and a t-shirt, then work for Manko. Many of us, that's what we are. Don't go back and say, Abu Naasir said jeans and t-shirt is haram. Most times, that is how we understand things. But we are talking about going beyond you have above that. Something you should go above. Al-Imam al-Nawawi, rahimahullah, he died at age 45, 45. He said, since I was a young boy, boys in the street will drag me, come, let's play. I will tell them I can't play. Look at him, he died at 45. The time when people want to start life, that's when he died. Meanwhile, he had started his own life when people were playing. When people were playing with sand, he had started life. He said, when I was between age 11 and 20, I never knew one day that I deliberately went to sleep. I sleep wherever, sleep will just carry me and go, and then I continue what I'm doing. But say I want to go and sleep. It's not in my own dictionary. But let us go back to what he left behind. The least of them is the Arba'un. The least, Arba'un, 40 hadiths. Then Riyadh Salihin. One of the scholars said that after Quran, the most popular book amongst the Muslims is which book? Riyadh Salihin. After Quran. Almost every masjid you will see Riyadh Salihin. The man died at age 45. He has other books. So he has Sheikh Sahih Muslim, 18 volumes. He has Sheikh Majmu' al-Mu'adhab by Abu Ishaq al-Shirazi. He has that 20-something volume, even though he didn't finish that one. He left it for his student Ibn al-Attar and Nawawi Saghir to complete. That one, he even wrote the list of his marajah. This is my sharh that I'm writing. These are the sources. That one say I lost it. But let me see if I can try to do it. He started, he stopped. He didn't do up to 400 pages. He stopped. He didn't do Mujallad. He stopped. Ibn al-Attar. The point here is start from an early time. Don't say he's still a small boy. He's still a small boy. He's still a small boy. Till he becomes used to those acts or those manners or those approaches. The same thing women. She's still a small girl. You are not wearing her hijab, go. She's still a small girl. She's still a small girl. Till the time she can tell you she's not wearing hijab. What will you do? But if she grew up like that, somebody asked me one day, when did you start going to 3Lecture? I said, I don't know. I just grew up and 3Lecture. I asked a young boy too recently, when did you start to memorize? I said, I don't know. I just woke up, saw that, hey, I'm memorizing Quran. When you can realize yourself that I'm a human being, you saw yourself memorizing Quran. This is how we should live. Start from day one. And like I've been emphasizing, a lot lies with the women. Abu has gone Elomi, this is the only time that he has. From again, up morning to night. But the woman at home, at least you'll be giving kalimat to the boy. One woman, I asked her one day, in fact, I was surprised that these are your sons. Where are they? She said they're in Surah Al-Fatih. Fatih. I should tell them to read it. I didn't know. So if the woman is not available, you'll be waiting for Abu to carry you to Tafi school. What about those ones you can do by yourself? Do you need a Tahfiz school to make your child memorize Ikhlaq, Falak, and Nas? Do you need a Tahfiz school that your children should memorize Adhkaru, Sabah, wal Masa, and all that? You need a Tahfiz school for your child to be able to read Quran. Oh, lay down Makoni Qurani Kika. Oh, somebody can teach here. It's a problem. So from beginning, brothers, from day one, don't say later because it may be late. May Allah protect all of us. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they asked Abu Sufyan about him. He says, فَهَلْ كُنْتُمْ تَتَّهِمُونَهُ بِالْكَذِبِ? Were you ever in the circumstance of finding out that the man ever lied? Call Allah. Muhammad alayhi salatu. The one who, he didn't lie to the extent that they have him giving a nickname. What is that? Al-Amin. It has a meaning. We are coming back to it. That was question number one. You know what had told us? I've never seen a man as smart as that man. At that time, he was not telling him why, he was asking him a question. He came back to tell him why. You see this one, I asked you to get this. I asked you this one to get this. I asked you this one to get this. Who are those following Muhammad? How is that? Man yattabi'uhu, àwọn wo ló ń tẹ̀lé when he invites? Who are those who accepted that invitation? Ashrafun nasi am du'afa'uhum. Is it the elites? The elites, rich, influential. Are those ones following? Aw du'afa'uhum. Or those weak people just going their own way? Who are those following him? Qultu bal du'afa'uhum. Abu Sufyan said, no, it is Bilal following Muhammad. It's Bilal, Khabab, young boys or middle class or slaves. Those are the people following. The ones who are eminent and noble like Abu Bakr and Siddiq and Umar and Uthman, they were very few. فَالْحُكْمُ لِلْغَالِبِ. So the ruling came for the predominant. They were predominantly easy-going people. But as for the big men like we didn't follow him because he was amongst the big men too. Say, I know do afar. Don't forget that the same thing happened to Nuh and his people. مَا نَرَاكَ إِلَّا بَشَرًا مِثْلَنَا وَمَا نَرَاكَ اتَّبَعَكَ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ هُمْ أَرَاذِلُنَا بَادِيَ الرَّأْيِ. So it's always like that. We are coming back to that too, inshallah. It is the du'afa, the lowly ones. Those are the people following him. Alayhi salatu wassalam. قال هل يزيدون أم ينقصون؟ يعني أيزيدون أم ينقصون? Are they increasing in number or they are reducing? Look at those questions. He will explain the why of each of the questions. Ayaziduna am yankusu? Are they increasing in number or they are reducing? Qala qultu la bal yazidun. No, they are not reducing. In fact, they are doing what? Yazidun. Their number is increasing. Type. Another question. Question number what? Question 6. هل يرتد أحد منهم عن دينه بعد أن يدخل فيه سخطة له؟ هل يرتد أحد منهم عن دينه? Has anyone accepted the religion and then abandoned the religion? Ridda. هل يرتد أحد? Has anyone from amongst those companions accepted Islam? Summa yartaddu anhu, and then he will abandon the religion. Ba'da an yadkhula fihi, after he had entered Islam. And that rejection is sakhtatan minhu, as a result of disgust for the religion. Has it ever happened that one of them came into the religion, then he found the religion disgusting, and then he abandoned it? There were 2 or 3 persons who left Islam. I'm sure we know that. One of them is the husband of his own daughter, Habiba, Ubaydullah ibn Jahsh. He went to Habasha with them. You remember that trip to Habasha, the second trip. He went with them, with Ja'far, Salama, and those people who went for that trip. But he became a Christian there. He died there. The scholars say, and he is the in-law of Abu Sufyan. So why didn't Abu Sufyan mention him? The issue is that he does not fall under this category. Those who left Islam sahtatan lil Islam, out of hatred for Islam. Some people left because they understand the truth of Islam, but they want greener pastures. They were promised things. They saw things. They went away. Not that they say that this Islam is not good, it's bad. No. Let me just do this one too. Some don't even have the sense of the implications of their being Muslims. In the whole history of 3 years, in they were 140. In 3 years, they said, I'll go out of his name. So it's not out of this it's out of their own personal proclivities at this. He said, I said, no one did that. The next question. Number what is that? Have you 40 million? Because the one who fights a battle is the one who is asked to change his religion. Someone came to the age. That's why you like to fight young girls. Because once you are there, them to change. So expect a fight from them. So it was expected that Quraysh will react. Why? They are the ones who are told to change. So they are the ones asking questions, Ajal al-Alihata, Ilahan Wahida, and all of these questions that they ask by way of rejecting his message. Alayhi salatu wasalam. Fahal qataltumuhu. Have you people fought in a battle? Qultu na'am. Said yes. I have fought him in a battle. In addition to the question, said, okay, how did they go? How did they go? God, Abu Sufyan said, Qultu, I said, تكون الحرب بيننا وبينه سجالا. Between us and him, Sijala. Sijala is an expression, the word from As-Sajl. And As-Sajlu, the dal is the bucket with which you fetch the water from your well. Water. You know, everybody carries their own bucket for fetching water. So the wars between we and them has been that everybody has his own share. So he went on to explain it and say, Yusibu minna wa nusibu minhu. Yusibu minna, he would defeat us sometimes. Before this time, there were 3 battles. The Battle of Badr, Uhud, and Khandaq. Those were the 3 battles that had happened before this incident. The Prophet ﷺ and the companions and the rest of the people of Islam, they took over 2. They took over Badr. The non-Muslims took Uhud. Allah gave it to them to teach us lessons. Khandaq, they ran away. Allah told us they ran away. May Allah protect us. So that was the battle. We won, he won too. God, he said, Herakl said again, فَهَلْ يَغْدِرْ. Does Muhammad cheat and deceive? Does he break his oaths? Does he break his promises? Ikhwa, look at these questions. How are we to them? We are coming back, inshallah. Why was he asking these questions? هل يقدر? Would he be in an agreement with you, in a transaction with you, and then he will cheat you, he will fail you, he will deceive you, he will 419 you? Have you had any kind of a situation like that? Qultu la. We don't have any situation that you have a dealings with Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he ends up cheating. Abu Sufyan now said, but now we are on a period of agreement with Muhammad now. لا ندري ما هو صانع فيها. We don't know what he did. There's a reason why he said what he said. He said why he said what he said. For Allah, I did not find an opportunity from the person who was asking me, and from the answers that I have to provide, I did not find an opportunity I didn't have to cheat. Has he ever cheated anyone? Doesn't ever cheat. But you know, we are in an agreement with him now. We don't know whether he will now cheat. Why do you think that he's the one who will now cheat this time? He told us. The reason I did that, I want to put something there. The scholars explain to us that's the reason why, if you want to find out about me, who's my enemy, no matter what he knows about me, he wants to put something. Brother is good, but this, but the place where this is most ask one person about another language. So very you will not put one about it. May Allah protect all of us. So he said, I did not find a space. Ma amkanani min kalimatin udkhilu fiha shay'an ghayra hadhihi. From all the questions, yes, no, yes, no. I didn't find a place to put something except this one. He has never cheated, but now we are in an agreement with him. We don't know whether has he now cheated. Unfortunately, they were the ones who cheated. They broke the agreement. It was supposed to be for years, but they broke it in less than a year. It was not broken from the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. The other question, فهل قال هذا القول أحد قبله? This invitation that is inviting to people, to the people to this da'wah that is telling, oh come, la ilaha illallah, accept Allah, abandon idol worship and all of this. هل قاله أحد قبله? Has anyone, anybody made that statement before him? قلت لا. I said nobody has ever said it. This is number 9. Nobody ever said that amongst us. And the Quran said a bit of that. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was coming to give da'wah to a people. Ma atahum min nadhirin min qablika litunzira qauman ma atahum min nadhirin min qablika la'allahum yahtadun. Nobody ever came to these Arabs this time. Nobody. Yes, in the past they had Hud, they had Saleh, of course, up and above they had Ibrahim. But from that time, long time ago, Arabs didn't have a messenger till the Prophet came alayhi salatu wasalam. So nobody said that. His father did not say that. His grandfather did not say that. None of his uncles said that. He said, then Prophet said to his interpreter, Kullahu. Explain to us. In Al-Buka al-Hasabihi, I asked you about his family ranking amongst you. فَزَعَمْتَ أَنَّهُ فِيكُمْ ذُو حَسَنٍ. And you claim it. Instead of saying for quote, he's saying what? Zamt. Meaning that he's still somehow doubting the rest of that is according to you. فَزَعَمْتَ أَنَّهُ فِيكُمْ ذُو حَسَنٍ. You claim that amongst you is a higher person in terms of his lineage. Now said, that is the message of Allah have been to be ahsan. The message of the best of you. What's now one? That is what he wants to gain from that. So prophets of Allah, you never practice. You have come from the best. So he was like, who is your uncle? He has a higher ranking in. Okay. Next question. You see the implication of that question. كذلك الرسل تبحث في أحساب قومها. That is the way the Rusul have been. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would raise them up في أحساب قومهم, in the best of their lineage, good family background, good name. Why? A man from a good family background finds it difficult to take evil and start evil. You know what? Everybody in the family said, you want to spoil our name. You want to spoil our name. You want to spoil. And then usually their upbringing are usually very nice. So with the slightest opportunity to niceness, they lean towards niceness. People from backgrounds that are good, they have a name for good. And once you mention their name, those people, they are good. Don't forget, the Prophet told us too, alayhi salatu wasalam, in the hadith of Munzir ibn Aiz al-Ashaj, Ashaju Abdul Qais. The Prophet told us, alayhi salatu wasalam, that traits, behavior, akhlaq, they could be what? Jibiliya. They could also be what? Maktasabiya. So sometimes character is like that. That is their lineage, all of them, that's how they are. It could be intellect, could be brilliance, could be trustworthiness. Those people, they will never cheat you. That one, no, they will cheat you. So it is from these kinds of group of people Allah will raise the prophets. Because if the prophets were raised from families known for evil, what is the attack against the da'wah? You, that we know your family. You now come to say, la ilaha illallah. My friend, go and sit down. So to remove that, the seed of honor is cultivated in the lands of heaven. So that was the implication of the first question. So he explained, he says, وَسَأَلْتُكَ, I also asked you, هَلْ كَانَ فِي آبَائِهِ مَلِكٌ, did the man have his forefathers anyone who was a king? فَزَعَمْتَ أَنْ لَا, but according to you, he said no. For what came to my mind when you said that was that لو كان آبائه ملك, if he had had a king from his father's house, I would have said that رجل يجلب ملك آبائه, this is a man who is in search of the past lost glory of his forefathers. It's not the side of his glory. It's from a respected family, but it's not looking for the respected family. They were not kings. This is also a lesson. You don't have to be a king. You don't have to be a governor. You don't have to be a president before you are a honorable person. Quraysh were not they were not kings, yet they were known for honor even amongst the Arabs. And Allah raised the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam from amongst them. That was question 2, and response 2. Now, if you are not now from that kind of a background, start trying to create one now for yourself. If you were not born in a family that has a name for goodness, start creating that name now for goodness from yourself. Be everywhere where there is goodness. Be a means of benefit to people. Then I will raise your name and your children and those around you in your family in terms of goodness. The third question says, وَسَأَلْتُكَ عَنْ أَتْبَاعِهِ أَضُعَفَاؤُهُمْ أَمْ أَشْرَافُهُمْ. I asked you also about his followers. Are they from the weak amongst the people or from the elites, people of influence and power? Add arrogance to it. Usually when you find influence and power, easily, what comes back to it? Arrogance. Are you from this kind of people? For quote, Abu Sufyan said, radiyallahu anhu, the answer I gave him was that, Bal du'afa'uhum. You said to me that his followers were from a general rank of life. And like we explained, the Prophet had Abu Bakr Siddiq, he had Omar, he had Uthman. These were Ashraf, but they are not the most frequent. The generality of the companions of the Lamb were rank and file, easygoing people. And at that, Herakl gave that reason. He said, Hum atba'u rusul. Those are the people who always follow the message of Allah. Atba'u rusul du'afa. They are always following it. They are always there. Why? They don't have any influence they want to lose. They don't have power they want to lose. They don't have connection they want to lose. All they are concerned is, let us hear the message. Is it sound? Then they follow. Is the message sound? Then they follow. Is it easy to understand? Sound. That's why ikhwa, those of us inviting, making dawah, ikhwa, which make your expression simple. Some of us, when we preach, you employ technical terms in Arabic without interpretation. You know, you say sheikh, so you call sheikh, but they don't understand what you are saying. Most people, the intellects are not so proper. That is the average mind. So when you speak gradually. When you speak, say things that are simple, easy to get, easy to grasp. I always say this. Say the things that are easy to grasp. So you say, you always say things that are easy to grasp. Because, yes, hum atba'u rusul. Àwọn yẹn náà ló wà lẹ́yìn àwọn ànábì Ọlọ́run. Àwọn tí wọn ò bá PhD professor yẹn, yes, small. I like it small, so that we can understand. So leave the technical terms. When you are in your classes with your big students, use technical terms. But when you are talking to the right of the people, be easy. Kunu rabbaniyina bima kuntum tu'allimuna an-nasa min al-kitab wa bima kuntum tadrusun. Be easy in your lessons. Pick easy to understand books. Books people read easily, they understand. But if you are picking the big ones, Zadul Ma'ad, Zadul Mustaqni, when students of knowledge say, mashallah, Sheikh is reading big book, oh yeah. Because there is divine guidance in the expressions of the Prophet Muhammad. If it is that one you sit down to be explaining, good. The reality of the point. But when you come to your house, it's all about, that one, do what you like. Reading big books, read Shatibiya, read Itisam, Shatibi, read big books, Alfiya, in the market. Big thing like big books. Make it easy and simple so that everybody is able to come along with it. Somebody cannot say, you are teaching small things. You are big things with the teacher. You see those small things? Whom atba'u, they are the ones, if I leave that, she used to talk about how the Prophet used to speak with the people. When he spoke to the people, he repeated messages 3 times. He said, he will say it again. It was only 3 because he felt, okay, if I reach 3, they will understand. He will say it. Sometimes you repeat the point, you have made the point, come back. You made the point, come back. One of our brothers, he's always writing on the social media. Once I told him, I said, he's very close to me. I said, what you are writing, do you understand? Somebody 6 lines a sentence. How is that? 1 sentence, 6 lines. You need a lot of logic to break down the contents of the sentence. And people don't have that mindset again. If they have the mindset, they don't have the time. In fact, from those 6 lines, they read only lines inside. We are in a generation of haste now. Sharp. So if you are upon dawah, make it simple, make it easy. And that was the way of the Prophet Muhammad too, alayhi salam. You go to khutbah, 1.5 hours, still talking. Khutbah Jum'ah, 1.5 hours, he's still talking. So I tell people, I said, the reason why they are like that is that they don't have any other avenue to teach the people. They have any of teaching. If you teach always, you will like everything in place. Khutbah Juma, 25-30 minutes maximum. You now put computer in front, it's starting to shut talking. Is it on the day of Juma? This is someone else. But I'm not hard. What is it? Don't choose intellect. The point here is that the easy is you but according to you, you said what out. So I was told from that أنه يعذب الناس ثم يذهب ويغضب على الله. I understood from your answer that لم يكن ليدع الكذب على الناس. he would not have gone, not ever in any way like human beings. And then ثم يذهب فيكذب على الله. Then he will now go and start lying about Allah. Someone who never lied to a human being, he will now lie about Allah. About 9 years ago, one woman left Islam. She wasn't serious, gonna tell her. So one brother called and said, he would like me to speak with her. So I spoke to her. How are you this? She said she has a question for me. One. I said, go on. She said, tell me about Islam. Tell me to make me accept Muhammad. That was what I said. Without referring to the Bible and without referring to the Quran. Without referring to the Quran, without referring to the Bible. Tell me any one thing about Muhammad that will make me accept that he has come with the message of truth. How do you answer that? I said history has it, and that one is not in the Bible. That he has never told a lie. He never lies. His days for 40 years. Do not think that she was silent for almost 20 years. And think that she was about Allah. In that time, he did not think about moral of the prophet. And for the sake that, so that when he wants to contest it, it was very clearly. I said, joining partners with Allah, your intention for something. You should be he is joining other than Allah. It is a shame to join with Allah other than Allah regarding a matter that should be done for Allah alone. It is shirk. For the sake of Allah alone. The meaning of for the sake of Allah alone is that you are expecting the reward from Him. So expecting the reward too is part of doing it for the sake of who? Allah. It's also expecting the reward that people will vote for me. I say, don't spoil it. Do it, but reorganize your intention. I followed him up. I made sure that he did it. And I hope that Allah alone. Let me talk about this. It's something we usually fail. If we have a brother, you know this brother, mashallah, he wants to do good. If he does not want to do good, he will not ask me. You know that he's making a mistake. Grab his hand, get him one that is right. Some of us want to blackmail him. You can't help him get over the failure, push him to that which is good. You now start hearing background noises about your brother. You hear something, he did this, don't worry, he said that he did so, just this one. We are not like that. He did that, you are sure, you want to verify that he did it. You create a lot of effort to verify, but you are not making any effort to rectify. Al-mu'minu yasturu wa yasur. Imam Fudail ibn Iyad. He says, Al-mu'min, the people of Iman, yasturu wa madha wa yamsahu. He will not allow the brother to be disgraced. He will be. You did like this. Why now? This that. In fact, as for the munafiq, he will destroy your personality while you are you. He will use that failure as an instrument of insult against you. Say, we have you done this. No. May Allah protect all of us. So the extent of the energy you want to put in for your brother to know whether he actually did something negative, put 10 times that to make that. You not only remove him from the negative, you get him to do what is correct. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was never known to tell a lie. Alayhi salatu wasalam, in his dealings with people. For us, this is it. So when he said, Iyakum wal kadhib, this telling lies. He says, فَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ, to bring you to criminality. If you tell a lie, you need another lie to liberate that first one. You need another lie, and so the chain. وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ. May Allah protect us. So the Prophet was never known to tell a lie. Young boys, you all, all of you, don't ever lie. Shabbat. Don't lie. Don't lie. So history to I have never lied before. If I say, do we have any young people who never lied before? We can find, we can begin to push them up on that. There's always one benefit about them. I know I asked you, هل يرتد أحد منهم عن دينه? Those his followers, has anyone ever abandoned the religion after he had been set out of disgust or decided this religion, this thing is bad inside it? Did it ever happen? And he said, according he said there was no way. He said, what like Iman? He said, that is how Iman is. When Iman comes to meet the open-mindedness, if a person is open-minded, Iman comes to that open-minded, fair mind. In another riwayah, he said, كَذَلِكَ حَلَاوَةُ الْإِيمَانِ. That is how the sweetness of Iman is. يَدْخُلُ قَلْبًا. It will get into a heart. فَلَا تَخْرُجُ مِنْهُ. It will never come out. His mind is set. Open-mindedness gathers. Iman comes to jam open-mindedness. The Iman will not come out of that mind again. The mind will see it as absolute truth. Because it's a fair and objective mind. So it will recognize the truth. It's كذلك الإيمان. That's how Iman is. When it comes to mix up with mindedness hearts. So that's why he asked, are they increasing religion? Has anyone gone out of his religion? Nobody went out of the religion. That is how Iman is. Meaning that from the things that is never open your mind and learn about it. Once it enters, it will not come out. No matter the argument of the argumentative, with simple discussions, it will be clear. This is truth. I asked you, are they increasing in number or they are reducing? But according to he said that the number was increasing. At the beginning, it was him alone. Then he spoke to Khadija, then Abu Bakr, then Ali, then Osman, then Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, then Abdullah, then Abdullah Abu Dharr. This number began to expand. On the 10th year of Hijrah, the number was expanding like that. For the Prophet and his companions, the number was rising. When Abdullah was describing the last of months, when they made Hajjah to Wada, you know, they stopped at Dhul Hulayfa, where they made preparations to start Hajj, making Hajj. Jabir said, رضي نظرت إلى بصري. I looked as far as my eyes could be in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Some people were riding their animals and some were coming on their feet. وعن يمينه مثل ذلك. To his right is the same thing. For as long as I can see. ومن خلف ذلك. Likewise from behind him. بين أظهرنا فهو يعرف وهو يعلم. If he did something, we did it. It's the perfection of Islam. This is how Islam became. They were increasing until they became a large number of people. That when they were at Hajj, you look at this, it is for as long as your eye can see. If you look in front, it is for as long as your eyes can see. If you look behind, it was for as long as your eyes and views can catch. The Prophet was at the middle. Everybody was waiting for him. He would not do anything except that we did it. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But this was the end. It started with him alone. There were about 140,000 about that. Something like that. From him alone. But don't forget, that's the phrase with Nuh alayhi salam. And Noah spent a longer time. He spent 950 years. The biggest of the community is 80. It's 80. how Iman is. He said, we don't get when Iman this idea said that Iman is so the Iman will rise, the number of each of them for Iman is rising. Those who come newly dedicated Iman begins to rise. More rises some the ones. So in all of this, and in each of these, man was knowing that yes, these are signs that this man is a prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Took I also he defended this one. He said, what that's how the messengers of Allah but subsequently they so that's how it's out. And it was tried them out. Yes, they more rewards, more satisfaction. They didn't before become better notes. More so Allah tries that they are trying. They who never issued instructions. Those that Allah tried most strongest things that can happen is to lose a child. It has 60 to one thing. He lost two boys. His wife was Imam. Where what will Imam say? It's how to the Prophet Muhammad. لا يزال can be just regarding his body, his thoughts. That's why he says, I'm not feeling okay. Because we enjoy our health. We enjoy it. It's a trial. We be patient over it and only find cure. It means that Allah has made lawful. That's the trial. This ill health, will you seek a means out of it only through what I have allowed, or you will discountenance my limits and find solution to your ill health? That is a trial there. So it can be fi jasadihi wa ahalihi. It can be regarding the family. Look at Nuh alayhi salam. اللهم مثل الذين كفروا امرأة نوح كان تحت عبد عبادنا صالحين فخرج. The wife of Nuh alayhi salam was the one going to announce that Nuh was not just when he said, what's happening inside your house? The mind of man. How is that? Trial. Trial. Fitna. It's trial. It's trial. So that's how the rules are. Trial will come. Allah protect all of us. Sometimes the trial, he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, wa malihi, it will be regarding his wealth. He had a lot of money, then trouble happens. He had a car, huge serious accident. He had a house, it collapsed. Something happened. The roof got leaked. He had to remove the entire roof and replace. Trial. Wallahi, trial. It may be his child, boy or girl. Because examples in the last class. It can be anybody. So لا يزال البلاء بالمؤمن والمؤمنة في جسده وأهله وماله وولده حتى he will continue to be like this until when he meets Allah, no sin will be on him. His patience over the trials, Allah would have used it as a means of expiation for his sins. Out of his from making patience, finding positive means of getting out of trials. Non-Muslims are those saying no trial. Once you have Jesus, all the trials have gone. I'm sure that the outside it have been making people understand that it's a lie. Otherwise, the richest people in Nigeria should be Christians. They should not be sharing palliative. You have shared Jesus now. Why are you sharing palliative? But innahum lakadhibun. Allah told us that they are liars. So let us understand, trials when they come, manage the trial. Allah does not intend to destroy you. He wants to see your iman. He exactly right when to leave it class. Because we want to see, are you strong enough to move to the next level? So it is for us to prepare and act appropriately. May Allah protect all of us. He went and said, وَسَأَلْتُكَ هَلْ يَغْدِرُ. I asked you about the Prophet Muhammad. هَلْ يَغْدِرُ. Would he cheat? فزعمت أنه لا يقدر. And he said to me They never cheat. Ikhwa. Ulama warasatul anbiya, don't cheat. Fadila to sheikh, Salafi, don't cheat. Let us watch our dealings. Everybody. Don't deceive your brother. Don't manipulate him. Don't or his father or brother or relative or anybody who had invited as most of said, or do call this is a man. He's calling a which was a lahu before he was born. So it's just somebody. For which Abu Sufyan said, you can do that. I said, if you say Bima, it's not wrong linguistically. So Bima, what is it that he is telling you? What is he commanding you to do? In the report of Imam al-Bukhari, he said, Allah wahdahu. So the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was commanding us to do this. What is the first message of the Prophet Muhammad? All of them, Allah alone, worship Allah alone. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِشَيْءٍ Allah. وَاتْرُكُوا مَا يَقُولُ آبَاؤُكُمْ. You see all those things your parents are saying, drop them. They are saying worship other than Allah, they have idols, they have things, they do. Drop all those things they are doing. Drop them. The first of message from all the messengers, alayhi salatu wasalam, is that thing that Allah told us about. وَلَقَدْ بَعَثْنَا فِي كُلِّ أُمَّةٍ رَسُولًا أَنِ اعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ وَاجْتَنِبُوا. Then he said, يَأْمُرُونَ الصَّلَاةِ. After that, the next thing is what? Salat. I always emphasize Salat. Salat. Today is Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow is Jumu'ah. Last Jumu'ah I was here. This masjid. Everyone coming to pray. Because I tell me, don't ask them. You know, the president wants to pray Jumu'ah. We went to part the area. So I was thinking, what will the Imam say in a gathering? This president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as they call him, in front of you. Oh yeah, Sheikh Utbah Yagbo. So my mind started running. What are the kind of things man should say like this. There will be ministers there, there will be governors there, the higher ranking personalities who are not in governance. You can imagine the retinue, security agents, everywhere, dogs, police, DSS. Why don't you sit down? Yeah, I came to the marriage a bit early. So once he came, but if you became minister of education, saying all these things, it appears that the person does not. Will he get or not? Listen to you because you are telling him about Yar'Adua. The next Kingdom was the president. Jonathan was the president of Yar'Adua. After Jonathan, you are telling Tinubu that one. You are wasting, but something you will say, you will be humble. Salat. Tell him the punishment not pay and the excellence of prayer. You so just be talking about salat. For example, talk about not getting involved with sheikh and the people of sheikh. Mùsùlùmí máa ń dá wà lọ́tọ̀ ní a kì í tó pọ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́lẹ́bọ̀. Because bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe wẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìtẹ́ ìbámúra ẹ̀ tó pọ̀ lẹ́bọ̀. Àwọn ẹlẹ́bọ̀ wà kí. So things like this. But many times some people when they are making khutbah, more so when they are speaking English, they speak. You have to be just, you have to be this category, speaking grammar. You can read 5 hadiths or 6 about the virtues of salat. Virtues of Salatul Jum'ah. Read 4 about regular salat, 1 about Salatul Jum'ah. Importance of Jum'ah. Then you come to, or you start with Tawheed. Don't mix up with shirk and the people of shirk. Then second, you mention salat. These are the kinds of things because if you think that the dawah of observing salah, otikari, we are playing. Many people are still playing with their salat. Those who are not playing with it don't care to observe it properly. 2 things. Not to observe salat at all and not to observe it properly. The 2 of them are almost the same. Iqamatus salah. 2 things are inside it. Observe it at its time and observe it properly. If we think that everybody is praying, you are joking. Most politicians, you know how they observe salah, they join together. So tell them, remind them, don't do that. Allah has the right over you. This. It should be general for everybody. And then the eagle will pick his own. So I just felt to share this with us. And that was why when he was telling Abu Sufyan this time was a kafir. Yet he knows the core of the message of the Prophet Muhammad. Do we understand this? A mushrik understands the core that Muhammad, this is the core of what he's saying. It means he was saying it. Tawheed Salat follows. Our non-Muslim friends don't know the core of our religion. What's Islam about? They say, Ya'muruna bis-salati waz-zakat. Muhammad commands us, alayhi salatu, to observe zakat. This is a mushrik talking. He knows the core of Islam. He knows what the Prophet is calling into. Was-silati wal-afaf. As-sila, to connect our ties. It is general. All our ties. Connect your ties. You have a friend, do well with him. You have a neighbor, do well with him. You have a brother, do well with your brother. You have father and mother, do well with your father. Do well with your mother. You have relatives, do well with everybody. He invites us to place everybody, give everybody their rights in your dealings. Wal-afaf. Al-afaf. Al-kaffu anil maharim. Wa khawarim al-muru'ah. Kaffu anil maharim. Abstinence from things that Allah does not like. I say to the people, we need to learn kabair. What are those maharim? Bigger than kabair. Maharim are wider. Kabair are smaller inside maharim. They are the worst of the maharim. We need to know them. You don't know them, so how do you avoid them? So he invites into al-afaf. Al-kaffu anil maharim. To avoid things that Allah does not like. Wa khawarim al-muru'ah. Avoid things that bring your honor down. Let's talk about this a bit. Because most times when we say something, is it compulsory? If a brother is going now on the street, he says, Afa, where is your car, sir? Ustaz, is it compulsory? Is it compulsory? No, it's not. But how is your muru'ah? What does muru'ah mean? Muru'ah does not necessarily mean being a man. No. Muru'ah, they are af'alu ahli al-aql salim fil mujtama. What people of honor and respect we do in the community. HQ. People of honor and respect. We did dress as you are dressed like this without wearing a cap. The way of the people of honor and respect in the community you wear a cap. This is muru'ah now. So don't ask me whether it is haram. Because I'm not talking about haram or halal. I'm talking about honor now, decency. Ijomaluabi gagani. Otikpa haram ti. Then he's also looking for noble character. It's maharimul muru'ah. Are those things that we now destroy that thing? This thing will spoil my honor. It is why you left it. So that, is it haram? It's not. I do it now. No. No. Sheikh Bakr ibn Abi Zayd. Cool? Sheikh Bakr ibn Abdullah Abu Zayd. He has a Hilya to Talib al-Ilm. Cool? When he discussed this matter, he was mentioning things that Talib al-Ilm should avoid to do. He said Talib al-Ilm should avoid some jobs. Although if he does not have anything except that one, he should do it too. We said there are some things you should not be doing. Fadila to Sheikh Ustaz. He's a organizer. And his engine for his organizer is in Oshodi, where the bus conductors, Igbo boys, smokers, they are their conductor. He's there with them. He said, no, don't do that kind of thing. Don't do that. Don't let us meet you there. But like I said, if that's the only thing he will do not to eat haram, let him do it. May Allah protect all of us. So this is, the Prophet is teaching us al-afaf, decency. Decent. He will not cheat, he will not lie, he will not get involved in things that will bring insult to him. How is that? This was what the Prophet was teaching. This is a kafir talking about him. So this is the 10th one. Bima ya'murukum is the 10th one. What does he tell you to do? He tells us, he says, Ibudullaha wahdahu wa la tushriku bihi shay'a watruku ma yaqulu aba'ukum wa ya'muruna bis salati waz zakati was silati wal afaf. This is the entirety of our religion. قال. So this is the 10th question he was asking Abu Sufyan. Abu Sufyan wanted to lie, but he did not find opportunity to lie. He was even thinking that I'm too big to be lying. But I can say some things. I will not lie, but I would not have made him like to accept the message of Muhammad. When he said all that, Herakl said, "In yakum ma taqulu fihi haqqan." That's what I'm saying. He's saying za'amta, za'amt. So he said, "In yakum ma taqulu fihi haqqan." If what you have been saying about this man is true, fa innahu nabiyyun. He is certainly sent by Allah as a prophet. If all these things you are saying is true, Anabi ni babai. Keferi. But he asked questions, asked questions, asked questions, asked questions. This man is a prophet of Allah. Don't forget, he had his Kissi soul and a Ruhban on that day on the 6th. Don't forget, we read that riwayah. He had his pastors, his church, because he was a Christian. He had his learned people in the seats. Everybody was present. Yet he uttered this statement that in yakum ma taqulu fihi haqqan fa innahu nabiyyun. If what you have been saying about him is true, then he is a prophet. وَقَدْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُ خَارِجٌ. I had already known that he will come, because the message has always been there. يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. They knew. They knew he was coming. The Jews knew, the Christians knew Muhammad was coming. وَقَدْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ أَنَّهُ خَارِجٌ وَلَمْ أَكُنْ أَظُنُّهُ مِنْكُمْ. But I did not know that he will come from you, Quraysh, or you Arabs. Some scholars say this statement is wrong, because there is no mentioning of the prophet's coming, except that it was said that he will be from the children of Ismail, Arabs. So why are you saying that he didn't know? So some say no, what he said, I didn't know that it would be Quraysh. Allahu Akbar. وَلَوْ أَنِّي أَعْلَمُ أَنِّي أَخْلُصُ إِلَيْهِ لَأَحْبَبْتُ لِقَاءَهُ. If I know that I can reach him, if there's a way I can reach him, I would have tried to meet him. I would have loved to meet him. وَلَوْ كُنْتُ إِنْدَهُ. And if I meet him, لَغَسَلْتُ عَنْ قَدَمَيْهِ. I will wash his feet. وَلَا يَبْلُغَنَّ مُلْكُهُ مَا تَحْتَ قَدَمِي. But hey, listen. The authority of Muhammad alayhi يَبْلُغُ تَحْتَ قَدَمِي. It will reach this place that I am. It will reach behind my feet, below my feet. And it happened in the time of Omar. It was in the time of Omar that they were brought into Islam. He died not accepting the message of the Prophet Muhammad. Ibn Hajar gave a statement that it was really disturbing. This man he knew that Muhammad Rasulullah. He proved it from all angles. It remained for him to follow and accept the message. That was why I said at the beginning, it is one thing to know the truth. It is another thing to be able to follow it. All these things that he said ended upon that he died upon kufr. If all these things you are telling me, in yakum ma taqulu fi haqqan fa innahu nabiyyun, I would have loved to meet him. But he did not come to the Prophet Muhammad. He did not meet the Prophet. He even arranged a war against him. His children came. Who came after him? He even fought the Muslims. It was in that battle by Umar radiallahu. Abu Sufyan said, ثم دعا بكتاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقرأه. Then he called that the letter the Prophet had sent. Who sent that letter? The Prophet. Who brought it? Dihyatul al-Kalbi was the one who brought the letter. فقرأه. He read it to the generality of the people. To this extent, I'm still thinking that this man is still acting correctly, because don't forget, everybody was there. فَإِذَا فِيهِ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ. Inside that letter there's Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The scholars say it means when we write letters, we should do what? Start with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Said, Min Muhammadin Rasulillahi ila Hirak Azim Rum. From Muhammad, the Messenger of Allah, alayhi salatu wassalam. To who? Hirak. To Herakl, that was his name. But the title of his office was Qaisar. So to Herakl Azim Rum, the one that is glorified and respected by Romans. The respected one amongst the Romans. He didn't say Maliki Rum, because by Islam, all those muluk go down. So the Prophet ﷺ wrote that letter. He said, Salamun ala man ittaba al-huda. The scholars say, does it mean that we may say taslim to a person who is not a Muslim? Because this man was not a Muslim. They say even this statement does not mean that the Prophet was saying taslim to him. Because Salamun ala man ittaba al-huda, it has a mafhum. May Allah's peace be upon the one who is upon guidance, who follows the guidance. The one who does not follow the guidance. It says, Amma Ba'd. Many times when we make da'wah, say Amma Ba'd. You say this Amma Ba'd that you are saying, where did you see it? One of the scholars compiled a book on it. And he had about 21 places where the Prophet was speaking, alayhi salatu wasalam. And he would say what? Amma ba'd. Amma ba'd. It says, فَإِنِّي أَدْعُوكَ بِعَلِسَ. I invite you to the invitation of Islam. The invitation of Islam. Aslim taslam. Accept Islam, get peace. Aslim taslam. Accept Islam, get peace. The scholars say it's so straightforward. These days, I will say that many of our brothers, we get too carried away with loga. If it is any one of us today who wants to write this letter to that kind of a person in Loga, it will be up to 5 pages. So, in Alhamdulillah, if you finish that one, you now start. You start talking to Loga. Aslim taslam. Straightforward. Less than half a page. Min Muhammadin Rasulillah ila man Herakl Azim Rum. Wassalamu ala وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى مَنِ اتَّبَعَ الْهُدَى أَمَّا بَعْدُ. The greetings have ended. Amma ba'd means, and after those greetings, the next thing is that فَإِنِّي أَدْعُوكَ بِدِعَايَةِ الْإِسْلَامِ. I invite you in the invitation of Islam. Aslim taslam. Accept Islam and get peace. Wa aslim. Accept Islam. Repeating it, so that its importance is known. يُؤْتِكَ اللَّهُ أَجْرَكَ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Allah will reward you twice. There are interpretations that this means that you had been a follower of a Rasul, Isa. So if you follow me too, you have 2 rewards. But look at it well. The Christians at that time, were they really upon the message of Isa? So they've not actually followed Isa. It's like these today's Christians come and say, we are followers of Isa. You claim to follow Isa. So Allahu Alam. Others say what it means is that the reward for your own following, and because you are a head, if you follow, others will follow. So you get two rewards. If you follow, others will follow. So you get the reward for yourself and the reward of those who follow you. Allahu Alam. He says, يُؤْتِكَ اللَّهُ أَجْرَكَ مَرَّتَيْنِ. Allah will grant you your rewards twice. وَإِن تَوَلَّيْتِ. And if you reject, don't forget, the messengers of Allah, they are what? رُسُلًا مُبَشِّرِينَ وَمُنذِرِينَ. As they promise you, إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. They will also be telling you that إِنَّهُ شَدِيدُ الْعِقَابِ. So when he said, if you follow me, Allah will reward you twice, doubly. وَإِن تَوَلَّيْتِ. But if you turn your back and reject, فَإِنَّ عَلَيْكَ إِثْمَ الْأَرِسِيِّينَ. You alone, you will carry the sin of the Arisiyin, the largely farming community that you are. They were a largely farming group of people. So he referred to them as what? Al-Arisiyin, by the generality of the work that was common amongst them. Then he read a verse of the Quran. Ya Ahl al-Kitab, ta'alaw ila kalimatin sawa'in baynana wa baynakum alla na'budu illa Allah wa la nushrika bihi shay'a wa la yattakhidha ba'duna ba'dan arbaban min dunillah fa in tawallaw faqulu ashhadu bi anna muslimun. He read a verse. O people of the book. It means they are people of the book. Why? They claim to follow a book, and the book was actually revealed to their messenger. Yes, they made tahrif, they rejected, they did a lot of things. We still call them by that name. Ta'alaw ila kalimatin sawa'in baynana wa baynakum. Come. There is something that's connecting between we and you. Your messengers came to say what I want to say now. What is that? Allah ta'budu illallah. None of us, la Allah na'buda illallah. None of us should give servitude to anyone apart from Allah. Your messenger said so. I have also come with that. Wala nushrika bihi shay'a. We also agree. We will not join partners with Allah. We will not say Jesus is God. We will not say Musa is God. Nobody. Uzair will not say he's God. La yattakhidha ba'duna ba'dan arbaban min dunillah. No one of us amongst us, we take anyone amongst us or others amongst us as lords, gods, apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا. But if you reject, فَقُولُوا. What we will say to you is that ishhadu, go and bear us witness. The anna Muslimun. We are Muslims. We will only worship one Allah. We will not join partners with him. If you don't accept, we will leave you. فَلَمَّا فَرَغَ مِنْ قِرَاءَةِ الْكِتَابِ. When the reading of the book got ended, Faragha, he ended the reading of the book. Who is telling us this story? Abu Sufyan. Irtafa'at al-aswatu indahu. People started talking. After reading the letter, voices. People started commenting, talking to themselves. And the voices went up. وَكَثُرَ اللَّغْوُ too. So mixed up voices and tones began to, like sometimes when we say some things now, everybody will give a comment, like that. وَأَمَرَ بِنَا. He gave a command regarding us. فَأُخْرِجْنَا. We were taken away. You know, we were strangers, visitors. He said something, people started to say, okay, please take our visitors away. So they took him and his companions, they took them away. فَقُلْتُ لِأَصْحَابِي حِينَ خَرَجْنَا. As we went away, I was saying to my companions, at that time, he was still a mushrik, Abu Sufyan. Few months before his Islam. It says, لَقَدْ أَمِرَ أَمْرُ بْنِ أَبِي كَبْشَةَ ابْنُ أَبِي كَبْشَةَ قَدْ أَمِرَ أَمْرُ ابْنِ أَبِي كَبْشَةَ. He gave a prophet the nickname Ibn Abi Kabsha. This man was said to be a man amongst the Arabs. He was also a mushrik, but he was not worshiping the idols they worship. He chose other idols. So as if to say he is a way out of the thing. So because of that, they gave the prophet that nickname. Yeah, you are doing something different from us. Like who? Ibn Abi Kabsha. Or like Abu Kabsha. All of it has been said. So the point here, Ikhwa, is Sunnah, Sunnah, Sunnah. Salafi, Salafi, Salafi. They can give you a nickname. You can get a nickname. Don't bother about the name. Those nicknames will die. What you do of goodness will kill those nicknames. They told somebody that this guy is very tough, he's very this, is very that. The person has a dealing with you. So the next time they told him, is this, is that? Say, Afa, don't say that one again. It's not. Or they say, oh, he does not do the, or she, or whatever the case. Be upon rightness, be upon goodness, be fair to yourself, be fair to others. Don't look left, right, center. Carry on the message like Nuh alayhi salam. He wasn't looking left, right, center. Just carry the message on and be patient. Change approach if need be. Yes, within lawful means, change approach, change the way you speak, change the way you talk, take the way you teach, change what you teach. The books, maybe you are teaching older books, teach younger, like that. Find out, adjust, like Noah was variously adjusted. If you need to adjust because of your circumstance, be patient upon it. Wait for the help from Allah. Did you not hear what a Kafir king was saying about the Anbiya and the Rusul? He says, كَذَلِكَ الرُّسُلُ. That is how those prophets are tubtala. What happens to them? Their trials will come. But don't forget, إِنَّ الْعَاقِبَةَ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. The end will always be for them. So be patient. He said, لَقَدْ أَمِرَ أَمْرُ بْنِ أَبِي كَبْشَةَ. This prophet, his affair Amira is big now. Last week, Monday, a brother said somebody was talking about somebody that is a big guy now. And that person saying it. If he finds an opportunity to cut off his head, he will cut it off. Now that big guy is a big affair now. See? That's what Abu Sufyan was saying. Laqad amira amru min Abi Kabsha. This, it is the nickname. You see, you can see he's supposed to be praised, but he still gave him a nickname to show that it's a leftist in the community. This matter, his affairs are now big. To the extent that the king of Baghdad is still African, is a matter of they are afraid of him here. I continued. I did not stop being certain regarding the affairs of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And now who says how that he will blossom, that he triumphant. I continue to think like that until adkhalallahu alayya al-Islam. I was hopeful that Muhammad, this is affair to blossom. They are even afraid of him here. I was upon that hatta adkhalallahu alayya al-Islam, until Allah placed Islam in my mind. The gap in between these two events, between that event and his becoming a Muslim, was about less than 8 months. Because this one happened at the beginning of the 7th year of Hijrah. Before the end of the 7th year, he was a Muslim. So I was like that until it came to my mind I should accept Islam. He accepted Islam on the day of Fathu Makkah, when the Prophet ﷺ was coming into Makkah. He had 2 swords. And they said, Muhammad is coming. I will fight him with 2 swords. Abu Sufyan. 2 swords. So the Prophet ﷺ started to announce, that is common in the books of Sirah, that anybody who goes into the house of Abu Sufyan, he is safe. Anybody who goes to the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. If you remain in your house, you are safe. If you go to the house of Abu Sufyan, you are safe. You come to my house, you are safe. But if I am in the house of God, see this here at his house is safe. That's today. It's in modern day. Just don't be afraid. We will not hope. I give you all the votes. I'm just saying, because there's that thing about human beings. You are afraid of somebody that if he is in charge of power, he will kill you. He now guarantees you that, don't worry, I'm not going to do anything. You can give your life for him later. So you leave me, how about all the money that I give you? You pardon. Government will pardon so people. Government does it too in some cases. If the case is serious security case, they give a pardon. So when he announced that Abu Sufyan, hey, anybody who goes into the house of Abu Sufyan is safe. The man accepted Islam that day. At the beginning, when he heard the Prophet was coming, he heard 2 swords say, I don't mind, we will fight to death today. When he heard the announcement, he dropped the swords. And then my house is a safe place. Safe place. This man must be. Abbas started telling him, accept Islam. Go and meet him. You want to accept Islam. So he felt safe. He could approach the Prophet Muhammad, Abu Sufyan. And he was very useful to Islam when he accepted Islam. Radiyallahu anhu. He fought battles together with the Prophet Muhammad. He fought a battle with the Prophet, he lost an eye. After the Prophet died, he fought another battle, he lost the second eye. He returned to Medina. He died in Medina. The was found him by Uthman ibn Affan. And that time, Abu Sufyan was 88 years old. He died at 88. So you see, the entirety of that was a summary of the message. The Prophet was like this. He was not like this. He was like this. He was not like this. Alayhi salatu wassalam. So I felt that this hadith will give us a general summary of the message of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. More so, it happened around towards the end, because about 4 years later, the Prophet died alayhi salatu wassalam, in the 11th year of Hijrah, in the month of Rabiul Awwal. I think this is a safe place for us to stop. We can go for Salatul Zuhur, inshallah, and then we can come back for questions. Am I correct? Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello. What? Right. Listening to Quran in the music.
session now, we resume question and answer by 2 p.m. We resume question and answer by 2 p.m. So we have between now and 2 p.m. to have our start and that's all of us
Alaikum salam. No, I'm okay. Because I was wondering what.